What's happening, everybody? Welcome to episode number 3 of the Michigan Equine Network podcast. My name is Brant Clark. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you got yourself a cup of coffee ready to go. As we got some great guests on today. We are going to talk about Michigan trail riding, exploring the Michigan trails on horseback. But before we do that, we want to say thank you to all the people that make this podcast possible, especially our friends at Tom's Western Store. And there she is, the smiling face of Tammy Tyler. Tammy, we made it to episode number 3 now.
Are you sure I'm on the screen, Brent?
Well, no, it says Jenny Cook.
Oh.
But you are on the screen. Here, let me try this. Let's try that one. That's Tammy Tyler, not Jenny Cook.
There we go.
We'll have Jenny Cook on later. We have an all-star lineup of people to talk everything about trail riding for this episode, Tammy. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I am honored, excited, humbled to have our guest speakers with us tonight. We have Margot Slater, Jenny Cook, Brandy Miller, and Chad Simpson. And they are just 4 dynamite trail leaders in the state of Michigan. I have learned so much from them over the years, and I'm really excited they're with us tonight, and they're going to share a lot of great information.
Absolutely. And as always, not only are we going to give people great information, we're going to give away some cool stuff. As you take a look at your screen right there, that's everything that not everything. We have some special giveaways yet that we have not advertised, but tonight we are going to give away a lot of cool stuff.
Yes, we want to thank all of our sponsors for tonight. And Saddle Up is also a sponsor. They help support us and advertise for us. We want to thank Cindy for all of her help and encouragement and mentoring. We also have Ron Silverman, Custom Leather. We have gift cards from Waterloo Horsemen's Association. Lori Salisbury is an equine youth author. She writes some phenomenal books for kids. We have a 6-pack of her kids books, which is fantastic. And we have a gift card from Howell Western Wear, and then a secret prize gift from Tucker that we're going to let Margot show us after she's done presenting today.
And how do you win all that? You have to comment, you have to like, and when it's over, we want you to share, but you don't have to do that to win. But make sure you like and comment in there. All comments are starting to come in. Holly Jacobs, she says, coffee, I'm out riding my horse right now, which, hey, listening to us. So thanks, Holly, for joining us on the show while you're riding your horse. Be safe, I guess. So, let's bring on our first speaker of the night. We're talking about everything trail riding again. We hit that on episode number 1. We did not realize how popular of a topic that was going to be. And with Memorial Day coming up, I think a lot of people are planning on riding their horses on this holiday weekend. And I think it was a good time to bring it back on. So, all right, let's before we bring on our first speaker, let's hear from her in our video.
Hi, I'm Margot Slater, and this is my horse Seeger. Recently, I was invited by Tammy Tyler with the Michigan Equine Network to give a testimony about my trail riding during my bout with breast cancer. Well, it was the COVID year in 2020, and so my salon was shut down, and I rode that year 2,317 miles, and I won Top Trail Horse only because of the blessings of God and because of this amazing horse Seeger. And I have to tell you, when you're diagnosed with breast cancer, it tends to take the light out of you The doctors, surgeons, they can treat you, they can give you the radiation, and you can be put on medication like I am to help prevent it from coming back. But honestly, what really cured me was the time I spent with Seeger on the trail, just processing everything that I went through. And I have to tell you, he's been a true blessing in my life and a true gift from God, because he was given to me as a gift. And little did I know that this horse would carry me through one of the hardest times of my entire life.
There she is now live with us, Margot. That video right there where you opened your heart a little bit about 2,000 miles of reflection of your life. You're a champion of breast cancer. You beat it, and we are so proud and happy to have you on the show today. So thank you for joining us.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for having me.
Let's hit a little. Go ahead.
ahead.
Well, let's hit a little bit about that number. 2,317 miles you and Seeger rode during COVID. That had to be quite an experience.
It was quite an experience. The challenge that I was in, Christy Mosier invited me to join Top Trail Horse because she had been in it. And so it begins on January 1st and it ends December 31st. So there's different tiers to the Top Trail Challenge, with the bottom tier being the Greenhorns and the top of the tier being Legends. Because of the miles that I had ridden through the West Michigan Trail group that has a saddle challenge, I had already had enough miles accumulated through that I started out in competitors, and that is one tier below Legends. Oh. So I rode my heart out.
Wow, you sure did. Let's we're looking right now at the Top Trail Horse website. Talk a little bit about what Top Trail Horse is and what kind of benefit did you find by using it?
Okay, so it's a national group. Anyone can join within the United States or the country. And it's a pay-for group, so you have to pay to join. They're very inspiring. There is a woman who has been with Top Trail since the inception of it. Her name's Robin Morris, and she lives in Montana, I believe. And she rides in the mountains continuously, and she has won Top Trail several times. She was really a true inspiration for me during the time that I was riding. And quite a few of the miles that I rode by myself. And I needed to do that to clear my head, be in nature, listen to the sights and the sounds of nature, because they helped heal the part of me that the surgeons and the radiation medication, whatever, can't. And that is my heart, mind, and soul. Because after you go through something like that, it does change you. And yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's an inspiring story. Your horse, he made 2,000 miles with you. We got some pictures here of some work that you did. Let's see if we can bring this up here. You not only do you ride, you also volunteer to maintain our trail system. This is a picture of you at the Manistee National Forest, right?
Correct. And that is when we were having a work bee, and someone happened to catch that picture of me working on the trail. What I'm holding is a McLeod tool, and I was actually scraping the top of the soil off of the ground, which is unbelievably difficult work.
Now, I can't believe that difficult is even in your vocabulary. You seem like a lady that doesn't even have that in there. But here's another picture of them building a hitching rail.
Correct. And that is on the edge of the White River. That trail system is in the White River area at Pines Point in Hesperia, Michigan. And I helped develop almost every mile of that 15-mile trail.
And here he is. There's Seeger.
Yeah. Yeah. He's such a good boy.
He's a gorgeous horse.
Thank you. He was gifted to me. And that was just another part of God's plan for me, which, of course, I had no idea about. and he's really truly my heart horse.
So many comments are coming in right now, Margot, thanking you for this journey. You know, and what an amazing story and a remarkable person. And I think we all agree with that.
Thank you so much.
You know, talk a little bit about your favorite places to ride in Michigan. We're exploring the Michigan trails. Give us your top 3 places you like to ride in Michigan.
Top 3, of course, the first one would be Pines Point. And then I also really enjoy Horseshoe Lake and Hungerford. Any place that has water is great for me. I've also been to Elk Hill. I've had Seeger on Bois Blanc Island and Mackinac Island. So I just love venturing through the state of Michigan and enjoying, you know, the different areas. I've been to Fort Custer. I need to get to Waterloo, Chad.
Right?
I do.
As people are watching this, comment in the comment section where your favorite place to ride is, and that will make you eligible for our giveaway. So everybody that's in the comments right now, or if you have a question for Margot, pop it in there. We'd love to hear your questions and about Margot and her horse Seeger. Tammy, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Margot, tell us how you're tied in with the company Tucker.
Oh, okay. So somehow they were able to see my achievement through Top Trail Horse. And so they contacted me and asked me if I would be interested in being an ambassador for their brand. And of course, I jumped on it. I had a saddle special made through Tucker Saddle Company for Seeger because he is an extra wide horse and very hard to fit. And, you know, I promoted that saddle in an interview that I had through the Top Trail after I won Top Rider and Top Equine with Seeger. And so, you know, they invited me to be their brand ambassador, and I jumped on it. I thought it was amazing that they, you know, even asked me. I felt so honored to do that. So I do, you know, promote their products and try to answer questions that I see people issuing on Facebook when they're trying to troubleshoot saddle pad problems, or they need a good saddle, you know, for their horse.
Yeah, you've been such a great advocate for trail riding, the
Thank you.
development of the trails, trail products. And we were blessed a couple years ago at D Ranch up north. We had Daryl Nephew and Sean. We're both there from Tucker and Circle Y, and we're doing saddle fitting. So they were able to meet you in person and to meet Seeger. So that was an extra special weekend.
That was an extra special moment for me because I never thought that I would have the opportunity to meet them. And, you know, that was an amazing event.
Tucker's a really great company, and Daryl Nephew has led so well his company and the sales reps throughout the country, and he's traveled international and fitting saddles. So many awesome stories and a lot of experience there. So we're really blessed to have their company supporting our industry. And Margot, you have a special prize to give away. Can you tell us about that?
I do. So this is a brand new cantle bag by Tucker. I'm going to just take it right out of the bag and hold it up. It has a tag on it. It's very, very well made, and it's lightweight. The bottom of it is padded, so when it sits, you know, or touches your horse's rump area, it's very comfortable. It's heavy denier canvas, and there's all kinds of pockets in here. And then the easy snap-on straps to attach it to your saddle. So it's a great product, and I'm happy and excited for whoever wins this tonight.
You better watch out, Margot. Daryl might be calling you to be a sales rep. You're doing a pretty good job there.
I'd be happy to do that.
Your sales might be skyrocketing after this.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, there's actually a matching pummel bag to this too, and it's the Day Tripper series. And they come in teal and gray.
Excellent.
Well, should we find out who's going to win now? Let's.
That would be fabulous.
Let's give our spin here, and it looks like Cheryl Struble is who our random picker is going to pick. Cheryl Struble. Tammy, how does Cheryl get her prize?
So, Cheryl, if you can go on to my email, tammy@michiganequinenetwork.com, and leave your name, address, and phone number, we'll get that sent out to you. So, thank you, Cheryl, and congratulations.
And we'll try
Congratulations, Cheryl.
Yeah, absolutely. Margot, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. What a wonderful testimony it is. And, you know, I think whenever I hear somebody say, oh, I rode horses when I was younger and I got bucked off and I haven't rode since, I always think, what a tragedy. Not because because of what those horses can do for the inside of a person, just like you testified. You made it through breast cancer because of your relationship. I mean, one, your strength and your family, but also because of what your horse gives you, right?
Exactly. And I didn't start riding horses until I was 40.
Wow.
So it's been an awesome journey, and I hope to keep doing it many, many years.
We know you will be.
Thanks.
Thanks for being with us, Margot.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, Brent and Tammy.
Yeah, we'll leave you with the last word. Do you want any last word before we move on to our next guest?
Sure. I just want to encourage everyone to get out and ride.
Absolutely. So, all right. Thank you, ma'am. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right. Wow, what a story, right? It gives me goosebumps to hear that, you know, the relationship that she has, and for her to say, I'm going to ride 2,000 miles in one of the most devastating pandemics that we've ever had. What a strong lady.
Mm-hmm. It's a powerful testimony.
Absolutely. We have more stuff. Let's give away one. Margot, that was our surprise gift. Margot so generously donated that, courtesy, I think it said it was a Tucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes.
Let's give away something else. What else we got to give away? Let's take a look at our list here.
All right. Ron Silverman, Ron and Patty, they are wonderful people. They were with us with the Michigan High School Rodeo, but many of the families in the show world are also familiar with their products, their work. Ron does a lot of work on saddles, dyeing, customizing, just amazingly talented. And Ron is giving away tonight a pair of custom handmade 7-foot reins. They're just beautiful. I don't know. I put a picture on Facebook. I don't know if we had one.
Yeah, there's a picture on there, right there. 7-foot reins from Ron Silverman Custom Leather.
Yeah, and when I mentioned this, a lot of people commented on the reins that they have, even from years ago. They just last. They're very well made. So thank you, Ron and Patty, for your donation tonight and your support.
And we'll give our old spin here, and it's going to stop at Terry Slack. She commented she likes to ride at Headquarters Lake in the UP, and her comment is going to win her a pair of 7-foot custom reins from Ron Silverman. So Terry, if you want to, well, I guess you know what you know what I didn't do is I should have put your email on there. But they need to email you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be great. And they just need to drop in their name, address, and phone number for me.
Tammy at Michigan Equine Network. Yeah, Terry Slack. You thanks for commenting. Thanks for having a little fun with us today. All right, let's go to our next guest who is joining us. Let's get him on the line here.
All the way from Alabama. We're not jealous.
Alabama brings us. There he is, Mr. Chad. How are you, sir? Chad Simpson from the Waterloo Horsemen's Association.
Thanks for having me.
You know, Stonewall Studio has nothing, which is what I call my little blank wall behind me. Has nothing on the background that you have right now. That is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, I'm here atop a Lookout Mountain. There's actually horse trails behind me. If you Google Cherokee Rock Village, it'll come up with some horse trails up there. Hopefully someday I can make this little site here a little campground, but I hope to spend time here in the winters because I'm tired of Michigan winters.
Oh, they can be a little rough. Now, this property has a little bit of meaning to you, right? Like this, did you tell us earlier that this is your grandpa's property, or was your grandpa's property?
It was. There was 240 acres that my grandparents owned, and it got split 3 ways, and then my mother sold off her majority of what she owned, and I was able to buy where the home place was. So
speaking of
working, bush hogging, cleaning up, you know.
Speaking of a lot of property, you and your team manage a big piece of property with the Waterloo Horsemen's Association, right?
We do. It's a never-ending battle over there. There's so many trails, a lot of mileage, but we have a great DNR and a great board and volunteers that help us keep the trails open.
We're taking a look at a couple of pictures right now from the Michigan Equestrian Gateway to the Trail State. A group of people there that volunteer. You guys have a really big volunteer group at Waterloo, right?
Yeah, it's up and down at times, but yeah, we get out there, and we didn't have a work bee this year so far. We had a lot of volunteers jump in with them storms that came through. They we couldn't wait for a scheduled event, so people would just jump in when needed. DNR also. We have a great group of people.
Georgie Carlton wants to tell you, Chad, that thank you for donating to the benefit ride this weekend at Silver Lake in Michigan.
Well, that's Waterloo's donation. Anytime we can help other organizations, we'd be glad to do it. There were years ago we couldn't do that, but we've been very fruitful. So we love our trail system in Michigan, just so we can create that opportunity wherever you want to go, not just Waterloo.
Talk a little bit about the events that you got coming up at Waterloo.
Well, previous event, we had our banquet in February. That was in Ann Arbor at Weber's. We had about 150 people there. We give away some prizes. We had a raffle. We had a 50-50. We have an auction. We go out and collect merchandise that is donated to us, Tom's Western Store included. And then that's where most of our money is raised. And then we hire a band. It's just a good time. Actually, it's our annual meeting, but people would just rather not have the meeting and just have fun doing it. But and then we had our Green Lake ride just here a couple weeks ago. We had 130 horses travel to a spot in the park that's not normally allowed for horses to go. So we go out a week prior, maintain that trail, and for the benefit of all users for the rest of the year. And then we ride over there and serve lunch and ride back.
Wow.
But events coming up, we will be having our Memorial Day weekend, Saturday. We're going to try something a little bit different. Instead of having a dinner in the evening, we're going to have lunch out on the trail. We've often heard times where people would rather ride to a donation and not have to come back and have dinner, just give them a destination to ride to. So we're going to try that this time, lunch out on the trail. That'll be at Maudie Road staging area, conveniently across from my house. But that's something we're going to try.
It sounds
After
fun, Chad.
that, I bought a chuck wagon this past year, so maybe we can wheel it over there and add a little ambiance to the event. So we'll see.
I'm a little jealous because your Memorial Day ride that's coming up, I'm losing. I have a ranch rodeo in Gladwin, and I'm losing one of my best cowboys because he never misses a Memorial Day ride, Ricky Littlejohn. So him and his family, his little daughter and his wife, they're all going to go there, go to Waterloo on Memorial Day. So that's coming up quick. What kind of preparation work do you guys have to do to get ready for a ride like that?
Mostly shopping for food, make sure the trails are open and clean. But luckily we have two wonderful cooks, Jerry and Sandy Bobian. Without a cook, you have nothing. So I could not, and the rest of us probably do our job without the cook. That's just one item you can check off that they handle. So, but then another event coming up that we haven't done in a couple of years that we're excited to bring back is the Kids Day Ride. Kids Day Ride, we feel, is an opportunity to get them young ones that are involved in 4-H and equestrian teams, but you don't have to be. Just any kid can come, and we want to introduce them and their horse to our trails. So we'll lead them out. We'll do the kids loop. That's from Horseman's Campground, and then we'll come back and feed them.
Wow.
So that's pretty exciting because a lot of riders that most of the time just circle the arena. This gives them the opportunity to ride with their friends and build up some confidence, out on the trails, show them what's out there.
Absolutely.
That's a really great opportunity.
Jet, if somebody wants to join the Waterloo Horsemen's Association, how do they go about doing that?
Well, we have given up our web page, but you just go to our Facebook page and scroll left on the icons at the top of the page, and under files, you can click on it, and there's a membership there for the events. Now, the Green Lake Ride and another one that'll come up in October is also called the Portage Lake Parlor Ride. Instead of riding east, we'll ride west. It's very similar to the Green Lake Ride. We clean the trail. Normally, horses are not allowed on these trails, so we get a permit, we get insurance, and this time there are no cooking involved. We let the restaurant do the cooking for us. So,
sounds like me at my house.
And then after that, Labor Day weekend is the same thing. Well, just like Memorial Day. But then the kicker at the end of the year is the Turkey Ride, which is always the first full weekend in November, and people show up. A lot of people for that because it's kind of like the closing of the trail riding season for some. So that's a good event. We cook turkeys and hams, and people bring dish to pass. So that's a good one.
Well, Chad,
everybody's invited.
We want to say thank you for number one is we made you drive all the way up to the mountaintop so you could get phone service, but we also want to thank you for all of the hard work that you and your crew do for everything that happens at Waterloo. You guys are an amazing association. I think I saw in the comments somebody said that Waterloo was the first trail riding organization formed in Michigan, right?
It is. It was formed by Wayne Mears, and he formed a lot of other ones. I don't know all, but I know Sleepy Hollow was one of them. Maybe Ionia, Mayberry out there. But I sent you a picture of a swing that we had just bought last year that we placed down at the creek in honor of Wayne Mears, that we are going to put a plaque on for him.
Nice.
So,
well, be careful on your way home from Alabama. You'll head back. Memorial Day is next weekend, right? So when will you come back to Michigan?
Probably sometime next week, middle of the week.
You've missed some good weather. It's been beautiful here.
Well, it's been nice here too. I keep looking at the clouds though. You get rain anytime here. I've learned you don't leave your window down just because it's nice at the moment. Rain's real quick here.
Chad, thank you again for everything. Thank you for being on the show today, and we're looking forward to seeing you Memorial Day weekend in Waterloo.
I appreciate it. I'd just like to thank all the volunteers, the ladies on the show, and the rest of the ETS committee, and anybody that does trail work. It's a passion. So keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you, Chad. Well, Tammy, in honor of Chad and all of his hard work, they have donated four $25 gift cards. I think it's time we give them away. Don't you think so?
Yes. So we are going to have 4, and they are $25 each. So thank you, Chad, and the Waterloo Horsemen's Association. So these will go towards some of the Waterloo swag, so to speak. They have ball caps, stocking caps. You might not need them again, hopefully until October. And then bandanas, T-shirts, hoodies, so lots of fun attire. And Chad mentioned some of the really awesome events. They're really great at events, on the trails, fundraisers. I see there are people out and about throughout the state all the time. And that's just a really great way to build friendships and relationships. And those events are going to be on the calendar that Brandy will talk about in just a little bit here.
Waterloo is a key piece of my training operation, believe it or not. I'm 31 minutes from there or something ridiculous like that. And I'll take a whole trailer load of horses to Waterloo, and I get so much done. The trails there are beautiful and amazing. And let's give away our first one. Let's go. Let's give it a spin. Debbie Johnson Matthews said, thank you for all their hard work. Your trails are amazing. That's worth a $25 gift card.
Congratulations, Debbie. And remember to go to Tammy at MichiganEquineNetwork.com and just leave your name, address, and phone number, please.
The second one goes to Noe Shorter. She said, hope to visit Waterloo soon. Heard great things. She'll get a $25 gift card.
Excellent. Congratulations.
And Sharon Van Wert. Oh boy, I think I'm Sharon. I'm sorry. I might have just slaughtered your last name. VANWOERT. Tammy, if you're writing that down.
Yeah. Thank you.
And the final one will go, I just give this thing another spin. Looks like Luke Streeters is going to get the final one.
Excellent. Congratulations, everyone. And thank you again, Waterloo.
Absolutely. All right, let's go as we bring in our next guest. Let's bring her in with her. She has a YouTube page that she explains a lot of basic skills for all of us trail riders, and she also rides mules. Here's our friend Brandy with her YouTube page.
Okay, so we have a couple of knots to show you. The first one is a quick release, which I talked a little bit about. I kind of alluded to the fact that it doesn't come undone very easy once they put a bunch of weight on it. So the easiest way I have to tie a quick release stump is I bring my tail up and over. I kind of have a way of always doing it the same. Bring that tail across, under, make a loop on the top side, push your rope under your tail underneath the whole rope and pull, snug her up, and you can put your tail through there if you want to make sure that if they play with them or want to get them undone, they don't have quite an easy time doing that.
And at Briscoe YouTube, there she is now on the screen. Brandy, how are you?
I am great, thanks. I'm actually really grateful I didn't have on the same shirt that I had in the video right there. You know when that happened.
Talk a little bit about your YouTube channel. I was kind of scrolling through it. Some really good information.
Well, thanks. I'm not one that just, I don't like to speak out to people when we're riding, when I see something unsafe or something. I think to myself, gosh, you know, they're out here enjoying themselves. They're doing their thing. And the knot they just tied or the length that they just tied their horse at is really dangerous, but I'm not one to go up and say anything to people like that. So, you know, they're doing their thing, but I thought maybe it would be helpful if I did a few little videos that are the things I see on a regular basis. And some of it is trail, etiquette. Some of it is safety. Some of it is wardrobe, things that why we wear certain things, why we wear cowboy boots, how you wear a hat properly. And it ended up being 40 some videos, I think, is what is on there now. And I haven't done any in the last month or so here, but it's kind of a funny collection. I think the most recent one somebody asked me to share was about the sugar content in grass this time of year when we're getting those horses out on the grass, because I teach biology. So it's kind of a smattering of just little things that hit me that I think would be helpful for people to hear. So that's it.
Brandy, can you even take that back a little further to your previous years before trail riding?
Sure. So I came from the horse show world, and I lived out, in the thumb. So I did a lot of riding out there, even with my show horses. And one of the things, Brant, that I really loved about your last episode when you were talking about multiple disciplines and people appreciating the skills that they see from other disciplines. You said something that was so true, and I'd never thought about it. But if somebody's having trouble with a horse in a certain discipline, 9 times out of 10, you take them out on the trail and it kind of disappears, so you're doing different things. You're exercising different muscles. You're giving a break to the things that I think you're doing with them if you're working them hard in any one single discipline. So, I always did that with my pleasure horses too. And then I showed, into, the early 2000s, mid 2000s there, and then didn't really want to do that anymore. Wanted to go another direction. And a very different direction by getting into the mule world. So that's where I've kind of been ever since. And I don't see me turning that around, honestly. I really enjoy them. So.
Well, hold on. You're going to have to expand upon that. How did you get into mules?
So honestly, a friend bought me a book called The Natural Superiority of the Mule. And I read that cover to cover right away. And it was just great anecdotal stories about the weird things that mules do. And, mules that had broken loose and gone hundreds of miles back to the original owner and things like that you hear are just bizarre, And like, these are super interesting. And then there was a plow days near my house. And a guy had a 3-mule hitch and was plowing. And I got talking to him, and turns out he's a mule dealer and he knew of a mule. And I was advised to get an older mule if I was ever interested. And that's what I did. I bought an 18-year-old mule, was my first mule. And she was amazing. She's wonderful. And I just took off. So that was it. And then I'm on my 3rd mule now. And she's my best buddy. And most people recognize Bristol and know who she is before they know who I am. So
people are asking, what is the name of your YouTube channel? It's Ask Bristol, right?
Correct.
At Ask Bristol.
Yep.
Bristol.
Yep.
Lots of people are talking about mules. Holly Jacobs, mules rock. I'll put the comment up there. You can't see the comments there, but she's
one of my she's one of my good riding partners. I'm laughing that of course she's out riding tonight, so.
I like our dedicated listeners, though. They're out there doing what they're doing and still listening.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
I like what Brandy was mentioning before about some of the things that she does on the trails, because not all horses, and we had a pony that did not like mules when we went to certain locations. And so Brandy's talked about that a little bit, how to acclimate when they're on the trails.
Well, it's interesting. I've heard that a lot, that people will say, oh, my horse doesn't like mules. And I've honestly seen some that do react, I think, more to mules, but most of the time, I really wonder if it's the animal reacting or maybe the people reacting, and you kind of telepath that to your animal. But most of the time, it's not an issue. There have been a few. And then on the other hand, if there's ever been a horse that lived with a mule, they are so attracted to the mule when they see it because it's some long lost friend that they recognize or something. So that's always kind of a hoot. But
yeah, I like what you had shared about just being sensitive when you're out there. And that goes through, you mentioned that a lot in your different videos too. And another video that I saw, I didn't know you had 40 out there. So that's amazing. I'm going to have to watch a few more. But I do appreciate the one where you're talking about how to handle dogs on the trails, and just some really great information. Thank you for doing those.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. Those have been fun to do.
Let's talk a little bit about your work on the Equine Trail Subcommittee.
So this is my first year. I started in December, and I really wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Tammy telling me about the position. So this region I live in, which is the Central Lower, that position became available, and the person before me's term was up. So I started to ask some questions and learn a little bit about what they do. And I thought, well, I'm kind of at that point. I wanted to sort of give back and help out with this passion that I have and maintaining some of these things. So I was lucky in that the area that I get to represent, the trail groups, include Sleepy Hollow, Ionia, Yankee Springs, and Waterloo, which is where I seem to find myself most often. So it's great. It's put me in touch with so many people, and I've learned so much about what it takes to maintain these trails, and that the friends groups are just huge. I mean, the DNR, they're there, to try and help fund and keep things going. They need us to help give feedback as to what we need as equestrians and trail users. So most of them are not necessarily riders. And in fact, we just had an event, and Jenny was there and did a presentation just this week where the DNR officers got to ride, and we went out with some rented horses and went around Brighton a little bit so that they could experience kind of what we experience, because they're out there taking care of the trails all the time, and they're listening to us, and they really don't know what our experience is on the trails. So it's been eye-opening. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of red tape, I guess, and things to get through when you want to make changes. It doesn't happen as fast as everybody thinks, but I mean, everybody's been wonderful to work with. And like through this, I've just met so many more people, and it's a great experience so far. I have a lot to learn still, but I feel like finally I'm getting to where I understand my role and trying to make a difference. So
Good, bad, or indifferent. What do you see on the horizon for the Michigan Trail Systems? What is the temperature right now?
well, we have a few concerns, I guess, if I had to think about what we're coming up against, and mostly it's how we share trails. We have hikers and bikers, and we've got these e-bikes kind of on the horizon that we're a little concerned about because they travel much faster. They're super quiet. And bicycles alone are one of the challenges that people on horses deal with. It's really something to try and get your animal used to, because again, they approach so quietly, coming straight at you or straight behind. And Jenny will probably speak a little bit to this initiative of, getting people to understand their behavior as to, if hikers approach us, stop, stand back, smile, speak, some things like that really help. So probably the biggest issues I see so far are how we share the trails. And there is some competition between the trail users, not everybody wants horses on their trails and vice versa. So it takes more mileage to separate everybody. But that's what we're probably going to have to do in many cases. So, but lots of places do we share. I mean, at the Green Lake ride, it was awesome, that they put on, that Chad did down there at Waterloo. That was 18 miles that we rode, and those were all hiking trails that we got to use for that day. And we met hikers all over, and they were all super positive. So that's probably the biggest thing I see us dealing with at any of the meetings is that challenge. So.
Absolutely. We asked this question to Margot, and we didn't ask it to Chad, and we should have. But give me your top 3 places you've trail rode this year.
Okay, so Waterloo for sure. And I got to Pickney for the first time, which I really like. And one of my other favorite places is Ortonville, Hadley. And I think it's similar to Waterloo. It's a little tighter. It's a little smaller. There's not the mileage there, but there isn't a lot on the east side of the state. So if people live on that half of the state, it's definitely a place to go see. So
before we let you go, I'll give you the last word. Anything that you want to say to everybody that's watching us right now?
I think one of the biggest things is if you want to trail ride, there is no excuse to not have a place to go every single weekend. And the calendar, the Michigan Horse Trails Directory, that the Facebook page that Amy Sharman Bergdorf put out, actually gives you something to do every single weekend. So I guess, get out and ride and do it. There's short trails, long trails. You can stay over, a lot of options. There's an event happening somewhere, many weekends, multiple events to get out to if you want to go do something fun. And these are the greatest people that I have ever met, honestly, in this industry. I have so many friends from the past. In fact, a couple won awards on here, Cheryl Struble, that I still, talk to on a regular basis. And it's great, but this is a camaraderie that I've not experienced anywhere before. So
give us the website again. It's Michigan Trails Directory, right?
It's the Michigan Horse Trails Directory. It's a Facebook page, and they post all the things happening on there, and then there's a calendar, so you can actually look at the whole year and see from wherever you live what might be close to you on that weekend, and it's great. So
we're looking at it on the screen right now. Michigan Horse Trails Directory. Lots and lots of really good information on there for people to, like you said, there is no excuse for you not to ride.
Right.
So MichiganHorseTrails.com is the website. You guys can learn more there. Brandy, thank you for joining us. Great visiting with you, and we're going to give away some stuff in your honor. How's that sound?
All right, thanks. Thank you all.
Brandy.
Yeah.
All right.
So Brandy is a teacher, so this does kind of lead into the next prize here tonight. All teachers love to see their kids reading and learning and growing, and we thank you, Brandy, for the educational aspect you bring to the trail industry. And also, I love the little pictures and videos of your donkey, who is coming along quite nicely.
I should have asked. We should have asked her.
Development.
Yeah, because Gail Johnson put a comment up there. Don't forget about Cactus Jack. Is Brandy still with us? Hang on. She's gonna have to. You're back on, Brandy. What is Cactus Jack?
Yeah. So that is so funny, Gail. So Gail Johnson is a person that I knew back in my show days too. So it's funny how we all just stay in this, right? So now I inherited this little donkey, and he's super old, but I have never experienced something that is so difficult, honestly, to train or work with. And he's super sweet, but yeah, so I put up my videos of him because I've been trying to make him load in a trailer and do some things so that if I have to take him with me at some point, but he's Bristol's little companion. So I'm starting to understand that side of the mule now a little bit more after dealing with horses, then the mule. Now I've had this donkey experience. So they're entertaining little critters, that's for sure. So
you put your comments in hashtag donkey or hashtag mule, and if you've experienced that. I have a donkey, believe it or not. Yeah, so we have terrible coyotes, and my kids wanted to have a baby horse, and I said, well, I don't really want a baby horse, but I'll get a donkey because it'll run the coyotes off. It's the best thing ever. It literally, when the coyotes come in the spring, it goes down and sleeps by the creek, runs the I haven't seen a coyote since. Like, it's...
Oh, wow.
In fact, my donkey, the pizza guy showed up. My kids were playing in the backyard on their swing set, and the pizza guy tried to deliver pizza to the house. The donkey got between them. He said, what do I do? I said, don't approach the donkey.
They are something. They're stoic. They're really confident in themselves, and he makes me laugh more than anything every single day. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we
dress him well too, Brandy. He looks good.
Yeah. Oh, all right. We had to bring you back on this so you could clarify Cactus Jack. So thanks, Brandy.
Yep. Bye.
All right.
So we have a pack of 6 elementary equine books from Lori Salisbury's series called He Reigns. They're absolutely fantastic. And Lori does travel the state and is at different equine events, libraries, grocery stores. Kroger's had a neat author series that they were doing. So thank you, Lori, for your donation tonight. And I do know those books are located at Tom's Western Store if you happen to be in our area. This weekend, we actually have at least 100 students competing in the Michigan Little Britches Rodeo. So I know there might be some of those students that may be interested in picking up a book, but that rodeo is Saturday and Sunday if anybody is interested. While you are looking for your
I got one right here. Tracy Krings is the winner. She won the books. Congratulations, Tracy. She won all 6, right?
Yes, the whole pack, which is fantastic. Thank you, Lori. And congratulations, Tracy.
Tracy Krings. She is going to win the books. Yep, set of 6 Christian horse books, courtesy of Lori Salisbury, who I'm sure is probably watching. She watches all the time. All right. Yep. Good. We get caught up on some of these comments are coming in. YouTube page, Facebook. It will be on our YouTube. Oh, I got a comment stuck up there. How do I get rid of that thing? Click on it again.
So
there we go.
YouTube, we're working on that. This is kind of like horseback riding. We are working on it every show and trying something new and different. So thank you, everyone, for being patient with us. We appreciate that.
I posted a picture today of everything that it takes to make this show happen here. And and there were so many comments that I said, what should I do? And people were like, get help. And I'm like, oh, no, I can do that by myself.
And talk at the same time. It's amazing.
So if I look distracted or if all of a sudden my picture comes off, it's because I'm probably trying to sort some little problem out that happened in the podcast. But we are ready for our next guest, and we have her waiting in the wings. Let's bring her in. There she is. Jenny Cook, how are you?
Doing great. So happy to be with you tonight.
Oh, one of the hardest working ladies. Slide to your left just a hair, just a little bit out of the...
How about that?
Right there. Perfect. That's perfect.
It looks like you're riding the horse, Jenny. That really awesome picture of your daughter behind you.
Yes, that was such a great time riding in Lake Michigan.
That was such a success this year. Let's start with that, right? Since you brought it up, talk a little bit about that shoreline ride last year and what you guys have in store for this year.
Great, thank you. Yeah, we've just been having so much fun. The Michigan shoreline horseback riding has become now an official season. And so this was changed with the land use order to be in a season for the month of November at Silver Lake State Park. And so it's just really great. We have a really large parking lot to park in, and which was an ORV parking lot, or is the ORV parking lot. And their season ends on October 31st. And then for the month of November, we now are able to park in this really large parking lot. We can accommodate up to 100 horses per day. And we cross a mile of the sand dunes. And then we have 3 miles of the Lake Michigan shoreline to enjoy. And that's just wonderful because this area is public land. And to get to this area, you'd have to walk across a mile of dunes. And so there's just not much traffic out there, especially in November. And so us as horseback riders, we really have the whole park to ourselves. And there's a few hikers maybe, but it's just wonderful to enjoy the Lake Michigan shoreline.
We're looking at pictures online. Unfortunately, I can't show them to you because we're on the Zoom call. But I mean, there are so many great pictures of people having a great time riding stirrup deep in Lake Michigan. Comments are coming in. People love the shoreline ride. A bucket list for everybody.
It sure is, and it was one of mine also. And I've been a Michigander my whole life, and so I love Lake Michigan. And then I always have had horses as a teenager, and just thought, oh, it'd be great to ride on the shoreline. And so it wasn't something I worked on until I rode in Mexico. And I was like, hey, we have the same terrain back in Michigan, only better. Right. Because we have fresh water. And so as our horses get thirsty from exercising, they can drink from Lake Michigan and be refreshed and keep on running. So it's just really been a dream come true for so many people. And we just never stop smiling. It's like smiles all day.
How do we register for the Michigan Shoreline Ride this year?
Well, thank you for asking. Yeah, so this is all operated and handled through the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. And so they have a website, and it's DNR Shoreline Riding. And on there, that has reservations that open up on September 1st at 8 a.m. for the November rides. And we do limit the riders to 100 riders per day, just so we can make sure everyone can have a place to park in the parking lot. We've had people travel from all over Michigan, but then also Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Wisconsin, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. And so I think our furthest traveler was about 7 hours. And as you know, when you're traveling with horses, you really want to make sure that you are able to be accommodated when you get to a destination. So
give us the website one more time. DNR Shoreline.
Oh yeah, DNR Shoreline Riding, I believe it is.
.com.
Is it coming up like that?
I'm working on it. Yeah, it doesn't seem that. We'll check that out. We'll get that right.
Okay. And then also we have a website and a Facebook page of the Michigan Shoreline Horse Friends. And so Michigan Shoreline Horse Friends.com or Facebook page, and it has all the information to register on that too. But it's every day in November. They may not offer rides on Thanksgiving. They're thinking about skipping that day, but 100 horses per day for the month of November is what they'll be allowing. And the cost is $10 per horse. And then also you would need a Michigan recreation passport on your vehicle to enter. And then you have all day to ride across the dunes and enjoy the shoreline and back again. And you can go out again if you'd like. So it's a really great opportunity for low cost. On the Michigan Shoreline Horse Friends website, we do have the community information. So if you want to go camping with your horses, if you want to stay at the Oceana County Fairgrounds, that's available, and they have electric and water. And so we also have the Double J nearby. It has like 15 miles or so of horse-friendly trails and several other campgrounds in the area where you can go and camp and then also ride those trails when you're done a ride at the shoreline.
Oh, perfect. Speaking of riding, I understand you've been working with the trail safety and etiquette, and you guys have developed a national trails safe passing plan and stop, speak, and stand back, right? Is that did I get that right?
Yeah, so that's right. So a little bit of a background is I wanted to ride the shoreline, and I went to the DNR. I went to a meeting at the Equine Trails Subcommittee meeting to ask for permission. And after going to a meeting, then they're like, hey, how about you join and be a representative? So once we were into that, I was going to meetings with other trail users like hikers and bikers and snowmobilers. and also with public land management teams. And what I realized is there was so many people that were unfamiliar with horses, and especially out on the trails. And so when they would meet us, they were wondering how they should pass or how we should yield to each other. And I realized that there was a lot of anxiety that other trail users were having towards horses. And that's the last thing we want on the trails, are out in nature. We want to enjoy nature. We want to calm everyone's fears. And so I decided to research information and find out what would be the best practices to pass each other on the trails. And we found a trail safe passing plan of stop, speak, and stand back. And that was from the Roaring Fork Valley Horse Council in Snowmass Vale, Colorado. They had the sign, and then I wrote an education information about horses to let them know like they're prey animals and they have eyes on the sides of their head and they can see movement. And so there was details like that. And I worked with the Equine Land Conservation Resource out of Lexington, Kentucky. And that is an organization with a library of information all about pro information about horses. And so they published this document and education resource. And then through the sign and another webinar through American Trails, we have people all over the country now who are trying to implement this idea. And we have these signs available. They're free and downloadable through the Roaring Fork Valley Horse Council.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Boy, you said the comments are coming in with people. There's a couple questions that were somebody asking, are there any overnight accommodations for horses and riders nearby for the shoreline ride?
For the shoreline ride, so there's a day pass at Silver Lake State Park. But if you wanted to stay overnight, the closest place is the Oceana County Fairgrounds. And that is about 15 miles from Silver Lake State Park. And it's in Hart, Michigan. And also another close place to the south would be the Double J Ranch. And there's cabins, or you can camp there. There's other places called Whiskey Creek, and they hook up to the Manistee National Forest. So there's hundreds of miles of trails there available. The D-Bar D is also up by Chase. And so, yeah, we have a few campgrounds that you can stay by, but some of those are about a half an hour away or even 45 minutes away. So the closest would be the Oceana County Fairgrounds, although they don't have any trails yet, but they are hoping to put some in. And they have a large arena and a large, fairgrounds that you can ride around on too. But they have great box stalls. It's a really nice place to stay.
Absolutely. Tammy?
Jenny actually, excuse me, Jenny poured a ton of time in. I can't remember how many years ago this was, Jenny, when we went and visited some of those different local sites to try to build that community information, because trail riders love to go and spend days on the trails. And I wanted to mention, how far away did you say that the Double J is?
The Double J is about 20 minutes or so, yeah. And that's to the south of Silver Lake.
And that's a really nice location for families too. They have a restaurant and a water park. So if there are families, like my son loves to do other things, not as much horseback riding. So there are locations like that not far where families can enjoy the restaurants and the water park and other activities too. Thank you for all the work that you put into that too.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, it's been a dream come true. It's just so great to see all the happy people and trying something new with their horses. And it's just great just to be out there along the shoreline and just to see the expanse of the sky and the dunes and the water. It's really great because your horse, once they can adapt to the water and understand the waves and all that, there's so much space there that they can really, I believe that they're free in their mind. Like they're not worried about predators attacking them. And so they can really focus on your commands and what you want to do. And you can really partner up with them and enjoy some great riding there on the shoreline without a lot of anxiety. And so for your horses. And so it's a really, really fun to be able to enjoy the shoreline for that long of a distance too.
Yeah. Adversity builds bonds, right? I mean, yeah. if everything that you do is easy, then you never really truly build that bond with your horse. And so there's nothing like 4 or 5 days of riding straight that puts a little adversity and a little time together. And And if you're lucky, you don't have any phone service and you don't have to look at social media. That's what I always look at anyway. When I'm on the back of a horse, people will try to call me and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I leave my phone in the barn, 15 messages later, but hey, whatever. So I'll throw you this. You've been riding this year, I would assume, right?
Yes.
Give us your top 3 rides this year.
Okay, so I love Fort Custer. That is probably the closest to me, and so that's really great. They have a wonderful trail system, 19 miles of trails. They're having a camp out this weekend, so there's a large campground you can go to. And then other than this weekend, they also have camping right by their day use parking lot. And so that's great too. They're putting in corrals there. A lot of places are putting in corrals. And so that's really helpful for people. And then I also ride at Silver Creek over in Allegan County. And this weekend they're having their 49th annual benefit ride that I think Waterloo also donated to. So that's great. And this is a neat idea or neat comment about that. This is the longest running horse benefit ride in the nation. It's their 49th year. And that's their claim to fame. And that's what their status is. We haven't found any other benefit ride that's gone longer than their 49 years. So
wow.
This is going for the Hospice of Allegan County and Wings of Hope. Really great. They give out great prizes, and we just have a wonderful ride. And then recently I just rode over at Brighton, and they had great trails too. So I'm trying to get out as much as possible. The goal is to be outside more than inside every day.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. We're getting close to our time limit. But I just want to give you a platform last comment for you.
Brent.
Go ahead.
Jenny, I wanted to have you mention that really awesome event that Barb Curdy helps with at Allegan County. That kind of ties into all of our trail riding topic here in Michigan, too.
Yeah, thank you for asking and reminding me about that. So the Oak Leaf Run is in October, and this is an endurance ride, and it's a sanctioned ride. So people come from all over the country. They trailer in, and an endurance ride is you can ride up to 15 miles, up to 100 miles, all in 124 hours. And so when you're riding your horse 100 miles, it takes approximately, some of the riders, 22 hours to complete that. 22 to 23 hours. So they're riding in the dark, they're riding all night long, and there's veterinary checks along the way, and it's really great ride to be at. And I usually help and volunteer there. So you just see these amazing athletes coming through, and the horses are amazing. And so it's really great that this is happening in Allegan, and there's 100 miles of consecutive trails that they're able to ride on. And we cross the Allegan Dam, and it's one lane, and we have to escort the horses across this dam. And it seems like it's about probably a fifth of a mile or so. And so that's really interesting to be, get the horses across that, because normally we can't connect all of our trail systems, but for this particular day we do that. So it's really great.
Wow.
And my last comments would be get ready for the shoreline ride. September 1st is when that opens up, and just get out there and ride on and enjoy nature.
Jenny, thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show today. You are always a wealth of information for anybody. Give us the website real quick that people can find more information in the Facebook group.
So it's the Michigan Shoreline Horse Friends.com or the Michigan Shoreline Horse Friends on Facebook.
Perfect. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
All right, Tammy, we're getting close. We got one more giveaway to give here, and
we do. And I want to know if there's anybody out there that maybe needs some new Western clothes, some jeans, shirts, hats, boots. We have a $100 gift card from Howell Western Wear in Howell. Thank you, Lynn, for supporting the show and for keeping the cowboys and cowgirls in Michigan looking good. We're
Absolutely.
very excited to give this out tonight.
Yeah, comment in there and we'll give it the old spin and see who's going to win that. It's a $100 gift card. That'll get you a nice pair of boots.
Yeah, and they also have Western wedding attire. So they have some of the beautiful taller white boots, white hats, some of the Western men's Western clothing too.
Absolutely. All right. I'll give everybody, we'll give them 5 seconds to get your comments in so we can give this thing a spin. while we're doing that, we want to say thank you to everybody that has commented with us today. Of course, all of our sponsors, Tom's Western Store, Gail Johnson with Beamer, Saddle Up Magazine, our newest edition. Make sure you guys get Saddle Up Magazine and figure out what is, or know what's going on everywhere. All right, here we go. Let's give it a spin. It's going to stop at, oh, wow. I cannot not say your last name. Cheryl Morgan. It's funny, she said pick me and it stopped at her. All right, I'm going to give it a whirl. McMurheisen. Was I close?
Can you spell that, Brant?
Nope.
No, not that either. You know what's funny is you are a professional announcer.
Well, I think I'm pretty close. Everybody's looking at it on the screen right now. I'm sure. Yeah, McMurheisen. Yeah, I'm close. I'm pretty close.
I'm sure it's pretty close.
Oh, here she goes. Yeah, there it is. Mitch Murheisen. There we got it. Mish Murheisen. Mish Murheisen.
Perfect.
Like Michigan.
I'm only going to say Cheryl.
Yeah, just put Cheryl Morgan on there. That'll be fine. So, all right. So you want $100, Cheryl? Gift card to our friends at How Western Wear. We give away all of that today and more. Make sure you guys like and share this video. We held 33 people's attention for about an hour and 8 minutes now. We want to say thank you to everybody that continues to support this podcast. It's a podcast where we just honestly believe in Michigan people and Michigan resources, Michigan trainers, Michigan events. It's not that the rest of the people aren't doing good stuff, because they are, but really this podcast is focused on that. We are going to focus on Michigan professionals. We're going to focus on Michigan and events. I mean, when we get closer to summertime, there's so much good stuff. And a shameless...
Can we also do a little promo for a really cool ranch rodeo, which brings a lot of our really talented ranch hands and families together that you might know about?
Glad you mentioned that. A little shameless self-promotion. You guys can go to rodeoticket.com, pick on the Gladwin Ranch Rodeo, and come to Gladwin Memorial Day weekend. It is going to be a blast. That little girl on the right-hand side of your screen right there, that's Emmy Martin. She's only 12 years old. She's a phenomenal trick rider. This might be the only chance you get to see this girl before she goes to the PRCA. She is great. If you've never seen a ranch rodeo before, it's not like traditional rodeo. It's all of the events are based on a day's work. So things that you would do on a ranch, sorting cattle. You have a trailer loading where you got to load one cow and 2 horses on a trailer. Of course, there's fun stuff too, like ranch bronc riding, which it's not near as technique emphasis as regular rodeo. And then for all of like the bloodthirsty barbarians, we have bull riding at the end. So
what will you be doing, Brant?
I will be the announcer for that event, and I'm really excited. I love ranch rodeos. I started the first ranch rodeo in Michigan in 2005 in Portland. Another shameless self-promotion, second Saturday in June in Portland if you can't make it to Gladwin. But it really is a good time. We're going to focus on family this year. The whole theme of that is family. You can go to the Facebook page, Gladwin Ranch Rodeo, and this week we're going to put out some interviews with the Houston family, the O'Haron family, the Flower family, and we're going to talk about raising kids in the Western culture and what kind of advantages they have by teaching their kids the Western lifestyle. So it's going to be fun. You guys can watch that some more. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I didn't want to bring it up on here because I'm involved in it, but.
Well, I think the ranch rodeos are something we all can enjoy and appreciate. There's a ton of talent there, but like our technology on here, and we have some hiccups every now and then. They might have a couple hiccups in the arena, and so it is entertaining as well. And we just really applaud those competitors that go out there and give it their absolute best.
Yeah. Speaking of giving your best, we want to say we're going to end the show tonight. Anything else, Tammy, before we go?
Just thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to everyone who is here tonight to share. Thank you to all of our trail volunteers. Truly, Michigan has some of the best trails to offer, and it's because of our dedicated workers and leaders that are out there.
Yeah, and a big thank you to Beamer, as they are one of our presenting sponsors. We'll leave you with this Beamer video as we say good night, and we will see you next month for episode number 4 of the Michigan Equine Network podcast.
My name is Tom McCutcheon, and I am the owner, along with my wife Mandy, of Tom McCutcheon Reining Horses. Reining Horses is our game. We use Beamer daily here at home and at the horse shows. The overall change that we see in the horse's behavior is they're happier. The most important thing in a reining horse is their mind. And you can actually get by with a little less talent if you have a better mind. For me, that all plays into the care of the horse. If they walk out there mentally ready to play, that is a big part of the picture for us. You got to be selective on the stuff that you use. And after we started using the Beamer, I knew, immediately that it was a good product for us. I mean, I could tell right away. It's so important in helping keep them comfortable. It feels good to them, and I think that keeps them, for sure, keeps them more in the game and keeps them mentally happier, which is super important.